It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
It doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
It
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars. Look at the groupies. The movies. Look at the
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
These are
Check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is March 18th. Damn, this month is just flying by, which is crazy. My name is Icy Gaming. You are tuning into Gaming Daily Live, and we got a lot to talk about. Today is a big episode. So without further ado, I just want to jump right into it and get this show on the road. Big shout out to AE in the building, Ice and Dark in the building. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for being here bright and early, man. First and foremost, we got to thank the sponsor of today's show. You guys know them, you love them. It's YGG Play, the official publisher and official guild of Gaming Daily. Shout out to Yield Guild, YGG, and YGG Play. Huge shout out to what's this person's name? We got to get their actual name. That did not help me whatsoever. But shout out to them for winning the Waifu Sweeper Abstraction live stream finals, securing the top spot, taking home a bunch of NFTs and $66.99. That is absolutely hilarious. you guys already know YGG is the best in the game, and they're doing so much. I think there's like a new quest of the day for Giga Chad Bat. It's right there. Check that baby out. If you want to see a little bit about GDC, shout out to Marcello, who also works with Yield Guild Games. Let me try and fix my mic there just a little bit. Maybe I don't have to shout in to the microphone. Guys, oh my goodness, it is a big interview today. We got Kieran Warwick from Illuvium coming on the stream in about 25 minutes. So excited to chat with him. We got questions. I know you guys do too. So if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. We can ask him directly live on stream. How about this thumbnail, by the way? I think I cooked on this thumbnail, man. Like, fam, I made this in like, well, it took me a little bit, but, dude, I'm super proud of the thumbnail. I think it came out so well. So really excited to talk to Kieran. With that, guys, let's just jump right into the show. We got so much to talk about. Crazy news from, I don't even know. Let's just jump in. Oh, big one. FFV in the building. Why is this like not fix that brightness a little bit? So I'm not like so dark. Oh, we are also streaming on Blaze. Shout out to Blaze. Super excited to get the first stream going on over on Blaze, which is really cool. With that said, guys, Meta, Facebook, has finally pulled the plug on the Metaverse. Their Meta Horizon Worlds on MetaQuest is being discontinued. I mean, like, I think this is good, right? We can finally just be done with the Metaverse. Can we just be done with the Metaverse, please? Please, can we just be done with the Metaverse? This was like, what a huge fumble from Facebook on this. They should have been investing into AI. Like, they have all the money in the world, and somehow they got scooped up into the hype and excitement of the Metaverse. And then they launched like the weirdest product ever. It was so bad. And it was just such a huge fumble on their behalf. I get it. Like, you know, AR is inevitable. Blockchain is inevitable. And so, like, you know, listen, that we got fooled too, right? So we got swept up in it. But it was and it was in part because when you see Facebook being like, "Yo, we're going all in on this," and you're like, "Oh, damn, we should be all in on it." But yeah, no, like clearly they even changed their name to Meta, which is just insane. Imagine if they had been going all in on AI at that point. But yep, we finally, the Metaverse is dead and gone. Dead and gone. You guys remember that Justin Timberlake and T.I. song? Okay, I promise I won't sing ever again on stream. Moving on. Apparently, reaction to AI in games is worse than blockchain gaming. Just when like we didn't think it could get any worse. They hate something more than crypto and NFTs, and apparently it is AI. This survey found nearly 1,800 gamers found that 85% had negative attitudes towards the use of generative AI in games. 63% chose the most negative response option possible. The researchers noted the level of rejection is rare in years of survey work, worse even than the reaction to blockchain gaming, which is not only saying something, that's saying so much, which is so interesting. And so it's crazy to me that people have such a passionate like reaction to AI in video games. Like, I get like, why do we care so much? Like, who cares that much, dude? You know, like, I understand caring, but caring that much to hate something is just wild. I don't know, man. It's not like AI is like scamming them and stealing their money, like, you know, taking their seed phrases or anything like that. Like, Wild. Gamers are gonna game and gamers are gonna hate, right? Speaking of gamers hating things, we talked about DLSS 5 yesterday, the announcement from NVIDIA, and boy, were people not happy. And NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, came out today and said that the critics are just completely wrong. He's like, you guys are wrong, and you can like have fun being wrong in your wrong opinion. He said the goal is to combine traditional rendering with AI to give developers more control, not less. Honestly, I mean, I'm not like, I've watched a bunch of reviews. I've seen a bunch of people talk about why they hate it. I get it. Like, I understand where they're coming from. It's not that it's like crazy to me, but I don't mind it. Like, I'm in the camp of like, I don't mind it. Like, it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me. I actually think it looks good. It can look good. I don't know, man. And it's an option, you know? So yeah, I mean, this feels like just one of those stories that people care about today, but like aren't going to care about tomorrow. You know what I mean? Let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. Boys, clap it up. Why is this like a weird, hold on. What the heck's going on with that post? Why is this? Did they delete the post? Why am I on the comments? There we go. Like, dude, my browser was like glitching out for a second. This might be the biggest announcement, the biggest innovation, the biggest milestone in crypto ever. Like, to this point, in terms of regulation, clarity, and crypto standing in the United States, this is absolutely massive. The SEC has officially clarified crypto assets, most of them are not securities, and they've gone into very clear detail of what is a security and what is not a security. This is the regulatory clarity that we have been begging for 10 plus years. Like, we used to pray for times like this. This is insane. This is amazing. We like how the market is not ripping right now. I mean, this is going to bring back the bull run. This is going to bring back the bull market. This provides a clear path for crypto in the United States. And it's not only the SEC, but it's the CFTC coming together and agreeing on this classification and basically giving approval to crypto and crypto companies and projects. There's a longer post from Ryan Sean Adams from the Bankless podcast that goes into all of the details here, even regarding the famed Howey test. We're not going to break it down, but literally it's in writing, it's in text. Huge achievement from Michael Selig, SEC Paul S. Atkins, and Hester Pierce. I think she's a CFTC commissioner. Insane, dude. Digital tools, membership tokens, credentials, domain names, not securities. Digital collectibles, NFTs, meme coins, artwork, tokens, in-game items, not securities. Digital commodities, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, XRP, ADA, which is Cardano, Doge, not securities. And yes, they actually name them on page 14 of whatever doc this is. Digital securities. Yes, you're a security. Like stable coins, like not securities. It's just insane. This is absolutely incredible. So major progress for crypto gaming, this technology. You'll love to see it. With that said, we have Kraken saying that they're freezing their IPO plans due to difficult market conditions. And I am like, what market condition, like what better market conditions like could you want and could you hope for? Like these are, we have like a clear path. Like, what do you mean? They raised $800 million at a $20 billion valuation. Listen, shout out to Kraken. I use Kraken. Shout out to Bill King. It's just weird to me. Obviously, we're coming off of OpenSea delaying their token, kind of citing market conditions. But fam, when in the past like 2-3 years did we have good market conditions to launch into, other than maybe like a 2-week, 3-week period here and there? If your product is good, if things are solid, I don't know, man. I mean, I think maybe they made this announcement. Well, they made it today. It's wild for them to make this announcement after we get this huge clarity from the SEC. Because to me, this says like, yo, clear skies, sunny, forecast. Like it is good to go. But Kraken apparently believes otherwise. And listen, who am I to say anything? They were valued at $20 billion. I'm barely valued at $20. Ghost Cat Pad in the building. Ghost Cat Joy Pad in the building. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. We on time today, baby. We on time. Yo, hang out. We got a crazy interview with Kieran Warwick from Illuvium coming up in like 15 minutes. I am so excited. But we have so much to talk about before we get there. So we got to speed run a bunch of this news. Speaking of OpenSea, never one to disappoint. They got hitting us with the announcements today. Anime Chain is live on OpenSea. Big shout out to Azuki. Big shout out to Anime Chain. I have no idea what you can do on Anime Chain. I have no idea like what you would even do on Anime Chain. I don't even know where it is. But I do know that it's live on OpenSea. Moving on, we got Peyton Kalevaheya, founder of the Wolves DAO, launching Kizuna. Kizuna is now live. The most powerful Discord tool in the world is now free. Banger little video from Peyton here. Intelligence for gaming communities. Big moment for the big dog. Peyton, I love you, brother. Appreciate you. Listen, here's the thing that you need to know about this. When Peyton and I were doing Ready Up 3 years ago, I dreamed of doing Gaming Daily, and he dreamed of building Kizuna. And we would talk about it all the time, like before and after our show and just on calls, like late at night. And to see him build it and launch, congratulations. Massive congratulations. Love the dude. Go sign up for Kizuna. Go add it to your Discord. It's so slick and like premium feeling. It's awesome, man. It's absolutely awesome. Next up, we got to talk about the Sandbox. Yo, shout out to the Sandbox, dude. Shout out to the Sandbox, dude. I drink out of this every day. This is like my main water jug. It's empty though right now. Listen, I'm working with them. We quote retweeted, sponsored, hashtag ad. I'm not paid for this coverage. This is just what we do, obviously, on Gaming Daily. But the Sandbox is going mobile, dude. They are going mobile. Fully mobile, built on Unreal Engine. And there's an exclusive play test for their third-person shooter coming next week. I don't know if I can leak the date. I think it's on the 25th. But I'm not sure if that's been revealed yet. But very exciting. You should go sign up. I have already signed up. I do have a referral code. The game's cool. The game is cool. I actually got a sneak preview of the game in at GDC. And so go check that out. Damn, we are running so short on time. We got to move it on, keep it going. Guns. So they don't really say much here. Like there's like no news here, but at the same time, I do think that this is what they are saying is like really important. And so they said for years, people said blockchain games won't exist on PlayStation, Xbox, or Steam, not because of the technical limits, but because of the control. And listen, man, they're on Xbox, PlayStation. I don't know if they're on Steam, but maybe they are. They are building, man. They are building. This is what first looks like, and first is never easy. You have to appreciate what Guns is doing and building in the space. Like you just have to. You know, they're working hard. They're working hard, and they're making huge leaps and bounds in progress and pushing the space forward. You just have to, you have to cheer it on. You have to respect it. You have to appreciate what Guns is doing. Llama in the building, GM. Thank you, brother, for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Good morning. I hope that top of the morning to you, Sa. Appreciate you being here, man. We got a banger today. Kieran is joining us in like 10 minutes. I'm so excited, but we got a bunch of news that we got to get through. Speaking of which, what the heck is this? It's got the most random text ever. This is like a interesting parking violation. Oh, that's interesting. Is this a scam? I don't know. That's weird. Okay, moving on. James from Galaxia, Mr. Planet X, Mr. Yellow himself. They've got a 250,000 Filipino peso showcase tournament going down in the Philippines for their game, Planet X, the first treasure hunt game loop extraction shooter extraordinaire. Physical prizes extracted, which come to your home. This is the real Ready Player One experience, and soon you'll see people screaming at their phones as they extract last minute first place only, which is very fun and very interesting. Do we have a date? I don't think we have a date, but very exciting. We'll keep an eye on this one. And, I've been keeping a close eye on Planet X. Let's keep it going though, guys. Couple more quick hits. Pudgy World apparently got targeted by crypto scammers with a fake version of the game because we can't have anything nice in the world. Here's the thing though. The site was like pudgypengu-gamegifts.live, which is just the worst, one of the worst URLs I've ever seen. Hopefully no one fell for that, but it is just a stark reminder to always be safe, always be super vigilant, and just don't trust anything. Don't trust anything out there. Next up, guys, Thousands. Yeah, dude, that domain was crazy, Llama. Thousands is up here. 100,000 WC token up for grabs. Just like the Planet X, I don't know how much money this actually is. The WC token is tradable, so we should actually go, I don't think it's tradable yet. Is it tradable on the 26th? We'll have to verify that. But we'll have to figure out what this actually equals up to. But they got a creator contest on X. If you post about the Thousands protocol, you could win up to 40,000 WC tokens, which is very fun, very cool. Congratulations to Wildcard. I guess this is why they have Thousands, because they have Wildcard strictly for the game. And then they've got Thousands Network for all of their crypto stuff, apparently. Okay, I can get down with that. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge update on Parallel Studios coming from Kalos. Just really a detailed overview on everything across their ecosystem, from Parallel TCG to Parallel Colony to Sanctuary. apparently, oh no, they've slowed development on Sanctuary in order to prioritize the release of TCG and Colony. Sanctuary remains a long-term project for them, but beyond the playtest that they've already run, they're not setting any hard timelines or release commitments at this stage. That's a big deal. Wayfinder is... They're working on a number of internal AI initiatives to position themselves accordingly. Doji in the building. Is there anything Web3 about Pudgy World? I don't think so. I mean, other than you can use your NFTs within the game, I don't think that there's anything else inherently Web3 about it, but that's like the point. Like, it's not meant to be Web3. It's supposed to be like mass appeal. We got AI Wayfinder updates here as well. They've got the SDK, the Auto Lab, the Cloud Agent Launcher, skills. They've got their Carthy's Loop. Huge bunch of stuff going on at Parallel Studios. So clap it up for them. Clap it up for the boys. Damn, we are gonna run out of time. And you know what, guys? I gotta jump real quick. Let me handle something. I'm gonna come back in 30 seconds, and we'll try and finish up the topics, and then we'll bring Kieran on. So I'm gonna switch to the away screen. Bear with me, boys. Bear with me. Bear with me.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box. These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Okay, boys, we're back. Doji is so bullish on everything, but I mean, how could you not be? How could you not be, right? Okay, next story. The Echelon Foundation also teamed up with Beezy, the gacha system taking the world by storm, to bringing their on-chain trading cards and sealed product to the Echelon ecosystem. Oh, interesting. You can enter Echelon raffles for graded One Piece and Pokemon cards. Dope. There you go. I'm not like a big collector. I'm not like a card pack opening guy. I wish I was, because BZ is killing it, and I know some of the people on the team there. But yeah, congrats to them. Okay, I think we've got one final story before we bring Kieran on. So I think that we're doing really good on time. And I think actually I realized that I shouldn't rush through the stories. We can just bring the guest on whenever we bring them on, and then return and finish up the stories, after the interview. So, which I think we're going to have to do that right now, because Kieran is backstage. So we're going to throw on the away screen. Stay tuned for the abstract story. We'll get to that after our interview with Kieran. So give us about 30 seconds and we will return with Kieran from Illuvium. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box. These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Party supreme, party supreme, party supreme. Flex, flex, now I'm flex. Got cans open, that purple. Got mad bitches.
These are facts.
I'm wearing Reynolds, Rexing. I'm having fun, just sexting. My
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars, look at the groupies, the movies, look at the triple.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Party supreme, party supreme, party supreme. Flex, flex, now I'm flex. Got cans open, that purple. Got mad bitches.
These are facts.
I'm wearing Reynolds, Rexing. I'm having fun, just sexting. My
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
My life is an opera. Look at the Oscars, look at the groupies, the movies, look at the triple.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Party supreme, party supreme, party supreme. Flex, flex, now I'm flex.
All right, guys, we are live. We've got him, the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Kieran Warwick, co-founder of Illuvium, waking up like super bright and early just for this. So I appreciate you so much, Kieran. Welcome to the show.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a long time coming.
It really has. It really has. Just real quick, like what time is it there for you?
It's only 8:30 now, so it's not too bad. Although I do go to bed at like 1 or 2 a.m., but it's fine.
Awesome. Well, we super appreciate you, man. As one of the early pioneers and builders in the space, I've been following your work, long before we ever connected. And so many of us like look to Illuvium as one of the teams and projects that we're like so excited about and rooting for through all of the ups and downs. And man, when it comes to grit and like conviction, I think you guys have never wavered. While you might have like pivoted here and there and continued to adjust the strategy, which we'll get into, it's so easy to give up and I don't know, say to hell with it. But you guys have always like just dug your heels in. So really, really appreciate that. I guess like just to start off casually, I know you guys just migrated to Immutable. I'm actually wearing my Immutable shirt for you. I just got this.
I saw that.
Yeah, I just got this at GDC. We did a quick interview with Robbie, which was really cool. Saw, Andrew Soro and some of the team. So how'd that migration go for you guys? How you guys feeling about Immutable?
So it took a little bit longer than we would have hoped, but there was definitely some on their side, and there was definitely some on our side. Like we've been rebuilding. We've got a lot of products. Like most games, it's one collection or a few collections and one game. We've got 5 games and 50 collections or whatever it is. So it was a lot to migrate, and we're probably one of their largest games, if not their largest game on Immutable. And so we were like, look, we're in a rebuilding phase. We don't want to migrate. Like it works, and we're kind of happy with where things are, and we're not going to move or anything like that. So you don't need to freak out. There obviously were some things that we just couldn't achieve on the old chain, and it's certainly such a better experience, particularly on our marketplace now. Like I'm really, really enjoying going on the Illuvidex, which is where you buy our assets and stuff like that. So, but they wanted us to migrate, and they were like, guys, you're the last one. Like we want to shut this chain down. And I was like, just give us another month. So 100%, it was, it needed to happen. And we're very glad now that it's behind us.
Congratulations. That is fantastic to hear. I mean, not only the chain migration, but all of the game development. You had this post the other day saying that you're very happy with the product development, and you guys have a lot cooking, right? We got some teasers of the death match. Obviously, Overworld. Like, is Obelisk Rising the name of the MMO Lite? Is that?
Yeah, so that's our flagship product. It's the one that's even though Beyond's made stupid amounts of money, like 10 million plus in revenue over the last 3 years, it's not quite a game yet, and it will be, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But Overworld has been our flagship. It's made the most amount of revenue, but we missed the mark on too many different features. So we basically shut it down for now and said, okay, let's gather all the feedback of what's missing, the things that people like. We'll double down on that, and we'll relaunch it in the future. And so we've been rebuilding Overworld for nearly 2 years now, and it's starting to look pretty bloody good. Like I'm very, very happy with where it's at.
Yeah, so I'd love to just kind of get a brief overview, because there's a few different games and titles cooking under Illuvium, and it sounds like the product development is going well. So if we can get like a brief overview: Deathmatch, Overworld, Illuvium Beyond, Zero. I think Arena, you said, is doing well on Steam. So yeah, I just want to kind of give you the platform to give that general overview.
Totally. So when we first started, we had a very ambitious vision, and what it basically came down to was a true interoperable universe of games where the assets, the main one being the alluvials, the creatures, effectively, call them your Pokemon in our world, but they could be used across a myriad of games that we build now and in the future. And so that led us to develop so many different products simultaneously. On top of that, you've got blockchain, so there's things like staking, the Illuvidex, like just countless things. And we kind of got to like 3 years, we launched Overworld, and people were like, we love it, and they played crazy hours. There was literally over 150,000 people that jumped in, but after like 2 months, they were like, well, what do we do now? It's missing so much stuff. And we kind of, I reflected on that, and I was like, have we tried to build too much at once, right? And so we took a step back and said, okay, now we'll just focus on one product, then we'll go to the next, then we'll go to the next. And it actually was slower, right? Like we weren't building as effectively. And so about 6 months ago, we decided, like, let's go back to our roots. It's a little crazy, it's chaotic, but we're a smaller team now. So, and we just said, fuck it, let's just build as many things that we think we're capable of, not going too crazy. And so our ecosystem now is Arena, for the most part, is done. Where that has sort of popped up again is one of our early game designers came to me and said, I told you Illuvium Arena should be a Web 2 game, launch it on Steam, sell it for $15. You told me, get fucked. and we landed with Web 3 didn't really resonate with the game. And again, like when I say didn't resonate, we still had 60, 70,000 players. We still made a bunch of revenue from it, but I want a hit game. Like I'm talking, if it's not making millions of dollars of revenue, then I'm considering that like we raised 70 million. We need to be making, decent revenue. So he's come to me and he said, like, you've stopped development on that now. Give me the IP. Let me do what I said 3 years ago. And I said, you know what? It's not going to cost us any development. It's not going to cost us, resources and time. Like, go do it, right? And all power to you. I hope you prove me wrong. And so that's what's happening with Arena. Our main focus, where call it like 60% of our developers, is Obelisk. And as I mentioned, that game was the one that everyone was excited about. We're talking over 1 million registrations. I think it was like 1.5 million people registered for Overwatch. They want a new age Pokemon, a creature capturer that is on chain. Never been done before, not properly anyway, like with actual real graphics, really good gameplay, story driven timeline. Like it's never been done. So that's our main focus. And what you're going to be able to do there is, when we first launched that, it was basically a first player game, right? Which which felt really lonely, and you didn't have any friends that you could go in with. There were no social aspects. So that's where the MMO Lite name comes from. Now it's multiplayer. Now you can the combat, we used our auto battler, which, hand on heart, that was the dumbest decision we ever made, and it just felt too disjointed. It was like 2 games in one, and it just didn't hit. So the combat is now proper melee, ranged, like really, really in depth. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to beat like Genshin Impact or whatever, but it's so much more in depth and fun to play than, hey, we're going to put you in an instance where you're now playing an auto battler, which was just weird. So then on top of that, you've got dungeons, you've got storyline, which you can uncover. There was no story. So we have a ridiculous amount of lore. Like, I'm talking like the storyline could be a 3-part movie. And I've always said that, and we've never revealed it, but we just didn't have enough time, and we launched it, and people were like, where's the story, you idiots? Like, what are you doing? Like, and it was just one of those things where, we just didn't do a good job of that. So more storyline as you go through, but the biggest thing that we're leaning into is progression. The idea of infinite or almost infinite progression across not just one system, but multiple. So you have your drone, which is basically your buddy sidekick. He does all your crafting. He does your mining. He does, anything that you need to do is like an ancillary benefit to your ranger. He's your guy, right? And there's a huge amount of progression where you make your drone be able to mine faster. You can find things faster, navigation, movement. So there's that. Then there's the ranger. Then there's your alluvials. And then finally, there's the bond between your alluvials and your ranger. So you actually, to make one of your alluvials stronger, that bond, you actually need to sacrifice other alluvials in your team, which is a bit of a leak. We have never said that or anything like that, but that is the big connection where, and then on top of that, you've got items which get better and better. The more quests you do, the more mining and harvesting that you do. So it's all about, whereas the overworld, after 6 weeks, if you played it crazy amounts, you were done. Like, you had all the alluvials, and it was like, okay, now what? And people were like thirsty for it, but we just didn't have anything. Right. Now it's like you can play for hours and hours and hours and days and days and days, and you won't run out of things to maximize. And then there's the optionality of things being on chain and not having it be microtransactions. We had, like, every time you would go into a region, you'd have to pay a small transaction fee. Yeah. I remember Stash's review, and it was just like, put me under a rock. I don't want to be here anymore, because it was terrible. The experience was so bad, whereas we've learned from that, and now it's go in, do everything you want. It's a free-to-play game. If you want to start, you have the option to activate Web3, but it's not going to be shoved down your throat. So that's Overworld in a nutshell.
Can I just pause right there, because I think we're going to go to Deathmatch, which I'm super excited to talk about. But just credit to you guys for hearing a lot of that feedback, redesigning a lot of it as you kind of had to do. And I guess I'm curious, like, what has that development process been like? And I guess how challenging was it to go through that? You're not the only studio to have to rip things apart and kind of go back to the drawing boards. And I always respect the teams and admire the teams that go through that gauntlet. Shout out to, Illuvium Gauntlet. Because, it's not easy. It's super hard. I mean, you were on this path for so long with this vision, and then it didn't land the way that you wanted it to land, or it just didn't play out that way. And to kind of go through that as a builder, as an indie game studio, like what was that like for you and the team, and kind of like how'd you guys pull yourselves out of that to refocus and realign on the vision and to build through it?
So I guess the first thing there is we're very resilient, right? And that doesn't mean, I think that does sometimes come off as like cocky, whereas if you work with me and if you know me, it's probably not the vibe that you end up getting. But if you see on the outset, it's kind of like these guys think that they can, do whatever. And it's like, no, we've owned our mistakes on the way through. We're just not going to quit until you literally have to kill us before we'll stop, right? And that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. I don't know why, but I think because if you're left in Illuvium, as in our team, at one stage we had 200 people. Now we've got just under 50. If you're left, you are resilient as fuck, right? Like you have the same thick skin as us, where you're like, you know what? I don't care. Like, yes, it's personal. And yes, the community is like, you're idiots. How did you build this? Why did you pivot to that? You just like, you've got to have this balance of like, not shut the community out, but also not let it get to you to a point where it's like, well, now I'm so overwhelmed by this feedback that I'm going into my shell. And that's when you get people who leave and say, sorry, guys, put our hands up. We took the money and we just didn't deliver anything. So it's been very challenging. I'm not going to sit here and say that it hasn't. But the team that is left, it's so refreshing. Like I can be very, very stern and sort of like direct with them and say like, the reality here is, guys, we've got 12 months. We've got so many different products that we're building. We only need really one out of these 5 to get to a point where we're not burning any more cash because we've reduced our burn rate so far. If we can't do this, well, we should never have been here in the first place, and they take that and they're like, you know what, let's do it. Let's go. So it's been really hard, but at the same time, it's been super fun, super rewarding. And I'm just glad we went on the journey, to be honest.
I appreciate that, Kieran. I respect that so much. I mean, like, I talked to Scoriox about it, or TSG, and anyone from the 2022 era, which is when I started like making content. Obviously, the 2020, the 2019, 2021 class, if you will, right? And like we're all kind of like this one big disjointed family in a weird sense of like, we see this vision. We're the crazy ones that are dedicating our entire lives. I mean, I don't know if you were, I know you weren't married. You might have been engaged when you started, building Illuvium. Now, I think you have a child now. Is that correct?
Yeah, and another one on the way. So I'm really showing my age now.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
so
you.
I mean, this has been half a decade more of our lives, and so for the people that have been sticking it out, yeah, you're right. It's battle tested. And hardened, and people can say what they want, but I always think back to the Steve Jobs quote of like, it's the crazy people who end up changing the world and whatnot. Yeah. So yeah, massive respect to you on that. You mentioned, I wanted to ask about like runway and revenue and things like that a little bit later on, but you mentioned like 12 months just now, and so again, you guys have been very transparent, very, listen, people will always want more or better communications, but at the same time, you guys have been very good about building in public and communicating with the community and everything. I'm curious, like, because runway is one of the things that scares me because how much money, games cost, go to marketing and things like that. But you've spoke about it before. What does that look like? And how are you approaching it and thinking about it and, looking at, Illuvium 2026?
Yeah. So we've got, like, realistically, we've got about 12 months left. Having said that, we just did a very successful launch of Illuvium Beyond. All of that revenue goes to our treasury at the moment. There's a governance proposal which has said, rather than sending it out to ILV holders, let's put it back into the treasury. So you have a month of that, let's say, good revenues coming in. It can buy you another couple of months of runway. So I'm saying zero revenue, right? We've got 12 months. If we do a good job, which is all about, deathmatch, Obelisk Rising is launching at the end of the year. As I said, that generated nearly $2 million in 6 weeks. So our plan with Obelisk Rising is it's our flagship. I think that's going to bring hundreds of thousands of people back in. It's got both potential of mainstream and Web3, and there's no deny. It's not like will people play it, will they not? Everyone who was an active person in Web3 back in that time basically tried out Overwatch. I know everyone will say, we have 10 million players. We don't, right? And so, I think there's so much potential when you go down this list of generating revenue. When I say, like, this is no revenue, 12 months, it will very, very likely be a lot longer than that if just one of these products keeps on doing what, say, Beyond is doing.
Yeah, incredible. Congrats on Wave 5 of Beyond, by the way. Let's talk about Illuvium Deathmatch. You guys shared some teasers, some previews. Let me put it on the screen here. Some teasers just a few days ago, and we reacted to it live on stream. Honestly, it looks great. It looks like I love the look of it. That's one thing for me that Illuvium's always had. I remember when I was there when the public beta or maybe even private beta of Overworld dropped in like December of 2020, I don't know, 2 or something. And like, yes, it was a little empty and all that stuff, but I loved the world. I loved the graphics. I loved, everything that you guys were. It was like, it's a taste of like, what's coming, so yeah. I wasn't surprised by that. And there was a lot to do and the mechanics felt good and everything. So Illuvium's always really had this great sense of style and artistic vision. I know your brothers, worked on that closely. But yeah, Deathmatch looks fun. I love kind of seeing the alluvials, like the artwork looks really cool. It's a cool way to see kind of what people are maybe familiar with the classic arena battler, but in this kind of 2D almost pixelated world.
Yeah, pixel art. Yeah.
So I think it looks great. And yeah, I want to hear a little bit more about it. Obviously, you've been talking more about the risk to earn dynamic. And this is very much, risk it all, for glory, because your alluvial will die and be deleted and burned. So I know it's probably maybe still a little too early, but what can you tell us about Illuvium Deathmatch?
Yeah, so we are 100% jumping on the trend, if you will. We have realized that we've got a juggernaut of an IP. And as you say, the creatures that we have, no one has the depth of just pure characters that have lore behind them. The 3D renders that we have in 4K, we've put so much effort into that. The ability for us to spin off games, and particularly using AI, right? Like this artwork is using AI. So the reason you can have it looking good in the space of like 3 weeks, they've been working on this, is because the main asset is so detailed and such a high quality creature that when you use AI, it doesn't look like a blob and, just something that you couldn't put out, right? And so we sort of looked at this movement that was coming out, and we said, you know, we can say, no, this is bad, and we don't like it how people are like, I want to put $1 in and pull out 10, or put $100 in and pull out $1,000. Like, we can say that is wrong, or we can just say, embrace it, right? This is crypto. If that's what's working, and another studio looks at this and says, like, okay, we're going to build these mechanics. They don't have an auto battler. They don't have the artwork ready. It's going to take them 12 months, whereas we're looking at like a 3-month build time for this. It's such low resources. It also has something that we've never been able to achieve, and that's mobile, right? Like, all of the Ronin community basically is on mobile. So we've alienated them. Obviously, Zero you can play on mobile, but it's kind of gated by owning a land NFT, which not a lot of people have enough money to get into that. But this, it costs you $1, right? To play a game. You go in, if you win, you get the most amount of money. Second, third gets a little bit of money as well. Fourth and fifth essentially get their money back, and the others die, right? It's permanent deletion. And the cool thing about it is people in Illuvium have been begging for a burning mechanic for so long. And we're like, we could just do it and give you some sort of essence. And that's coming in Overworld. But why not lean into this and say, you guys are crazy, you want to go out there and sort of gamble and stuff like that? We're in. Like, here's our entry into the circus. This is, you know, if you want to play a cool, quirky game, 5 minutes, you can load up multiple battles so whales can come in there, and you can easily buy alluvials. You just purchase a pack, in they go. And as you can see, like, when I first looked at this, I was like, in a seriously strange way, and I'm super sorry about this artist, but this looks sick, you know, like this, you know. And it's hard because they're purists. They love their craft. They don't like AI. Like, you talk to the Beyond guys who put out some of the craziest artwork for, you know, there's a reason people have spent millions and millions of dollars on those collection pieces of art. This to them is blasphemy, you know. So but there's, you know, they're also, they understand the mission and know if that's what people want, give the people what people want.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I've been kind of talking about it lately because personally, I don't love the risk to earn like name, kind of just like play to earn. But I understand the concept coming from like a poker background and everything. And to me, it's kind of like competitive gaming, real money gaming, like put your money where your mouth is kind of thing.
Real stake is what I'm sort of leaning into. Real stake. Real stake.
Real stakes. Yeah. Like real stakes gaming, you know?
But I mean, it doesn't need, not every, like, this is the thing that pisses me off about this space. Everything needs to have a tag. And it's like a necessary evil where if I don't jump on, people are like, what is he talking about? It's like, you say risk to earn, you say play to earn, you say own to earn, you say fucking any of the tag names that people come up with, and they're like, oh, now I get it. I'm buying. And I'm just like, okay.
I mean, it's 2026 and we're still arguing Web3 gaming, blockchain gaming, NFT gaming, crypto.
It's crypto gaming, but yes.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I call it crypto gaming. 100. I'm sorry, Sam. Sam, I love you so much. I'm sorry. But I'm with you on that. Let me ask you this, Kieran. How, in your mind, is there still a way where the games are all interconnected, intertwined? Because I know the original vision was the, you know, interoperable blockchain game aesthetic, which may or may not make sense. And you know, but like now with Deathmatch, is it just like, hey, we've got this great IP, we've got these cool games, different games for different people, you know, and we're cracked, so we're just going to keep pushing on all cylinders on all of them. How do you think about that? The interconnectedness or lack of across the
Yeah.
titles?
No, so that's the core design principle of Illuvium that we don't want to get rid of. Right now, I'm not going to lie, it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's very, very challenging to design around that. But here's where it gets really, really cool. So deathmatch is all about, essentially, you can risk putting in something that's a very good character, right? And it has obviously a much higher chance. If you wanted to chuck in a Ramfire, it has a higher chance of winning. It's got, AoE where it's going to hit every character on the board and shit like that. So it's got a higher chance of winning. But if you die because you are randomly put into a spot where there's like 4 other tier 3s or tier 4s, they could gank you where they're all attacking you, and your Ramfire is gone.
Yeah. And
that's the content clippable moment where you want to see that dude's face, the gut-wrenching Ralph moment where, his heart's ripped out of his face and he's like, why would I do that? I'm an idiot, That's the emotional connection. But where that ties into is, how are you going to get another Ramfire? You got to buy that off someone else. Now, you can open packs, right? That's an obvious one, but it's much cheaper for you to go and buy. The only reason that we're putting packs on there is convenience. We want people to be able to get into a game in literally, 10 seconds, line it up. I don't want to have to go through a marketplace. But if you get into the game, it's much more valuable for you to go, you know what, I'm going to spend the time, peruse the marketplace, and find the characters that have high power, where it matters, and actually get into it. And that's why it's so critical for us to have one asset that's used across. Because the minute that one game, and it could be this, right? The fact that it's mobile, it's, a web-based game, it's accessible to everyone, it's $1 to get into it. At one point, we might even add a free-to-play game here, still with Burning. All you need to do, like, there's alluvials for $0.01 on the marketplace. But what we want to train people into thinking on the other side, and you won't even know this, right? If you're a deathmatch player, you're like, what? What are you talking about, Obelisk Rising? I don't even know. I don't have a computer. Like, get away from me. But the person on the other side, he's feeding you those alluvials, and all of a sudden, his work in the overworld mattered, right? And he's like, cool. Now I'm getting a few cents here and there. And then as the supply gets burned, it's going to go up and up and up and up. And then eventually you're like, okay, well, now I sold these alluvials for $1. They only cost me 10 cents. So it's critical that all of the games, particularly the alluvials, which are the core thing, 10 games into the future, we want to still be using those alluvials across all games, because that's how we think we can lift the value. It's just we haven't Arena didn't hit the way that we wanted to. Yeah. But I think Deathmatch, just given the fundamentals of the game and the accessibility, it has a way bigger chance to start getting that marketplace going.
Amazing. Thank you for that clarity. And I mean, you said it in this announcement tweet, like you're aiming to have it live by the end of next month, at least the first playable version. So that's exciting. I don't know if you want to speak on that at all, but I think that would be a lot of fun to jump in there. And I guess like for someone like me who I've got some alluvials for sure, opened up some discs back in the day. Thank you for that. I think you guys gave some as well. And I bought some. I think I bought some like a couple $100 in wave 1 because it's very exciting. But yeah, like how do you get started? Will there be any free to play options or like starter packs? Like what can people look forward to, and how should they understand getting started in a few weeks or a few months?
Yep. Yeah, so it's, first of all, they're building it really fast. Like the usage of AI has helped out a lot. We've got a crack developer who's he's a web developer, and he's just Like when he loves building something, he goes real hard, like real hard. And I was like, man, so what are we talking, like, you know, July or August? And he was like, no, Kieran, I'll get you something to play in like 2 weeks. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. So yeah, they're going really fast, and I'm seeing the progress. So it's, you know, easy to say like, okay, we're probably going to get a playable version when I said sometime next month. But in terms of jumping in, we thought about this. We had multiple modes where there was ranging from free to play all the way up to Leviathan, where it's like $100 entry. And we just want to make it simple, at least for the MVP, just see what people like. And so we ended up on the $1 per game, and there's a couple of other things in there where you can roll a wheel to get better augments before the game starts. But you just need an alluvial and a buck. That's kind of the sell there. Do I think, you know, depending on how the game's received, do I think there's room for still death matches and you burn your alluvials, but a free-to-play version? Yes. And I think that does make sense as a funnel. But we've done that in the past where Arena, Gauntlet, you didn't need to own your alluvials. Right. And people just loved playing that game without it. And so then 12 months later, we introduced like, hey, here's ownership. And people were like, nah, give us the free to play, you know? So this is a very distinct player profile we're going for. You want to put in a buck, you want to win $6-7 back, you 7x your money, and you just keep on going and going and going, right? Like it keeps you on the Ferris wheel. If we do a free to play, I feel like it dilutes and they're kind of like, well, you know, so we're just going to own it. And maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, I don't know. But we just think a buck and pay a few cents to buy an alluvial off the marketplace, and you're in.
That makes a lot of sense, because you have other games and things that people can play. I want to ask Kieran, what is it going to take for Illuvium to succeed? And like, what does that look like? You have a few different games, a few different revenue potential, like, you know, high generating opportunities. Like, what's the go to market plan kind of look like? What is like the, you know, are you spending money on ads? You guys, like, how are you thinking about launching these games and bringing them to market, you know, over the course of the year?
So one thing that we did really well, and I put so much of my focus into this before Overworld launched, was getting every single person in crypto excited about this. Yeah. That's our low-hanging fruit. And there's going to be people who hear this and go, oh, he's learned nothing. You know, we need to go after Web 2 and whatever. You know, the reality is there are massive reach people that not even in gaming now, right? We did a really good job of reaching people outside, like other protocol owners, you know, DeFi guys. And the reality is a lot of people grew up in the 90s who are now in crypto, right? And they were old school gamers that now their game is trading, but they grew up playing games like Pokemon Red, which is probably the biggest basis of what Obelisk is. Yeah. And we can reactivate those guys. We can say we fucked up, we owned it, we're sorry, but look at what we built now. And it's my job to go and get as many people in crypto excited and talking about this is the game that can potentially get crypto gaming back on the map, right? That's my job to do. And that's what I'm going to be really focused on, from lower, content creators that are just starting to dudes that have been around for 10 years. I've got to get them excited and talking about Illuvium. And I've got to do that in the next 6 to 9 months, right? Like that is the first low-hanging fruit. Then we're going to do a lot of traditional stuff. So ads targeting people that are, Pokemon lovers and stuff like that across mainstream and crypto. So a little bit of ads, but I don't put too much stock in them, to be completely honest.
Mhm.
And then, we're going to be spinning off a new domain for this. So it's going to be all about like, this is a new game. It's coming out. It's, we're just putting everything into Obelisk. And at the same time, how we can sort of do that is the development team is segmented now. So those Obelisk guys, the Obelisk Rising guys, they don't see the deathmatch stuff. They don't see Beyond stuff. So they're locked in. And that's the way that we're going to treat the marketing for each product. And then my second sort of strategy there is to give enough fuel onto the fire of things like Beyond, Deathmatch, Zero, even the Arena Web 2. Like if they go and launch the Arena Web 2 game, we're getting the lion's share of that profit coming back. So if they go and sell 100,000 copies, that's a lot of revenue that comes back into us. And so my play has been like 60% Overworld, and you'll see how much goes into that over the next like 6 months. But then ensuring that we have these 4 other potential revenue streams. If even one of them goes successful, then we'll be in the green. We'll actually be not burning any money. We'll be in profit, and then we're going nowhere, right? Then we have the team, the profitability to be able to keep on building more and more and more stuff. The IP is sitting there, right? Like we have such a huge amount of stuff that we can build. So we're like, it seems like one of those things where it's like, oh, those dudes, they're just clinging on or whatever. But it's really not. I'm more confident than I've ever been because we don't have a $2 million burn rate anymore. It's like $350K that we need to generate a month in revenue. And we've got all these products that can do it. So, man, I think people are going to start to see like, oh shit, they're turning this thing around. So we'll see.
That's awesome, man. That's very exciting. No Parrots in the chat saying that sounds awesome. Kind of along that topic, though, I did have a question in the chat earlier from Llama saying, and I wanted to kind of ask this as well, like looking back, maybe some of the things that you've learned, or maybe like you got right, but other things you got wrong. Like, is there anything that you would have maybe done differently, knowing what you know now, or what are some of those kind of lessons and takeaways and insights just about building the game, building in crypto, the journey of Illuvium that you might, want to share, or just like kind of have come to look at?
100%. Like, we've learned so much. If you said to me now, right, with everything that I've learned, what's the chance of success, right? Like from 6 years ago to now, it's probably 10 times higher now with all the learnings that I had. Remember, we were a debut studio, and I'd run a lot of startups. I'd raised money before. I managed finances before. Like there's a reason why we've been able to scale down, scale up, and do all of these sorts of things and stay alive, right? Like while still building. I might seem a little crazy, but I sort of know what I'm doing to a certain extent. But if I look at that dude 6 years ago, I'm like, you are a word I won't use on here, but you're an idiot. Like, look at you. You have no idea what you're doing. Maturity is going up, like just learnings across different sections inside of gaming, learning how to market things, like how we would have gone to market differently, not scaling up so fast and kind of being like, whoa, we've got, $50 million. Let's build the biggest studio in the world immediately. Getting a few, like focusing more on Overworld and the features that we want, like so many different things. But I can sit there and but even like selling my tokens, right? Like I didn't do that because I was sitting there for 3-4 years. I didn't do that. And if I had them, right, at the peak or even close or whatever, I could fund Illuvium. But now I'm sitting in a rental here, you know, like it's not like I'm, you know, able to jump in and be like, hey guys, I've got heaps of money. Don't worry, I'll save us. It's like there's, you know, there's so learning things there of like when it wouldn't have mattered, take some off the table, like so much stuff, right? But we're a startup. And I was young, you know, I was 29 when I started Illuvium. I was very, very, very young. And yes, I'd run businesses before and I'd been in startups and I knew what working off literally negative income was for years and years and years, which built that resilience. So I might look at that guy and say, you're a dumbass. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, I'm proud that you did it, but now we've got to take those learnings and lock in. Our investors, they have been with us for so long. There's a reason why I'm not like, oh, sorry, guys, it's too hard. I'm feeling a little down. It's like, no, we've got to do this. And so, yeah, like, but I can't even count the amount of stuff which we've done wrong. Like, it's insane.
I mean, thank you once again. I really appreciate. I mean, it's just nice. It's nice to have like honest conversations because there's a million things that we all could have all done better at every turn of life, and that's kind of what life is all about, the journey. And I really I feel called to kind of document crypto gaming, this journey that we've been on, and I'm very fortunate to be able to talk to founders and builders like yourself. So again, I appreciate you sharing the time because we're all out here on this like crazy edge and frontier trying to pave this path forward. And you know, I mean, like I did my award show in 2023, and it's like a funny story because you know, nowhere near the scale of what a game developer is dealing with in terms of budgets and money and whatnot. But like, we kind of blew our load being like, oh, we're going to come out like we want the best show ever. And yes, we're going to overspend on everything because it's worth it. And like all that stuff. And in hindsight, you know, it would have been like, I really respect Games GG and Omar, and we're good friends. And like the way that they've slowly built their show, doing it online and then graduating and everything is just like very prudent. And it's like, oh yeah, in hindsight, that was a good idea. But when you're in it, you're like, well, it makes sense. Like we're shooting big, we're aiming for the stars. And if we land on the moon, like, you know, that's still a win.
Who gives a you know, it's or even in the trees. But
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it's like, can we get off the ground? So it makes a lot of sense, and you're only gonna know the mistakes in hindsight. So I appreciate your like, I don't know, transparency and humbleness in that. I think like for me, that's what drives me is, you know, seeing teams like yourself, these indie developers who like have this vision and are pouring everything into it. And it's like, I just want to do my job as a content creator to you know, be a champion and supporter of the space because, you know, someone's going to change the world with these games and this technology. And
100%.
Being a part of it is like one of the most exciting things ever. I did want to ask, where do I want to go with this? Well, so let me ask, because when you talk about Obelisk, I get really excited because I think that is, I'm in that gamer camp that is waiting for that game. Arena is a lot of fun, but it's not my style of game. I think the Deathmatch is very exciting as well. And the tie-ins between Deathmatch and Obelisk, the MMO Lite, is really exciting as well. I guess I will say, like, when the last time that Overworld kind of came out, you know, the reviews weren't amazing and it did seem to lack depth. You know, there were some issues with the tutorial. I don't think the game was really optimized, for a lot of PCs. So when you talk about the lore and the questing and more of the missions and this deeper, richer experience, can you just like double click into that where you guys, fell short with the previous versions, where the MMO Lite is going to kind of deliver on that vision?
Yeah, so the first thing was it wasn't optimized basically whatsoever, right? So unless you had a ridiculous PC, you were going to get a shitty experience. And even like I only have a PC laptop. I was using Mac, and the Mac version was available and also was shitty. So, and the problem there was we were just trying to rush it out, right? Like we had said, this is one of my mistakes, right? Going out and saying, hey, we're going to build this game in, I think when I first said it, it was like 12 months after we'd been building it for 6 months. So you're trying to build an entire game in 18 months. You're an idiot, right? Like, it's just, what are you talking about? And I believed it, right? Like I really did. And so that was one of the learnings, but that put us under immense pressure from our investors to say like, hey, you're now late by 6 months, just launch it. And so we did. And again, in hindsight, we shouldn't have done that. But what that meant was the storyline, there was no quests, like none. There just wasn't quests, which it sounds so insane, but there was no quests. There were no NPCs. Couldn't go up and like chat to someone. It was literally just you and these creatures. And the creatures that you would go up and try and capture, it would, as soon as you like attacked them and got them down, effectively you would go into this new game, which was an auto battler. The problem being, like you just said, I'm not really into auto battlers. That's 95% of players. Sure, there's a small niche, right, of people who love auto battlers, but it's 95% of players were like, I don't like auto battlers, and you're shoving me into this experience. Another thing where you're like, what the hell is this? Way too much focus on artwork that I would say didn't really matter. So things like, grass fidelity, rock fidelity, like just environment stuff where you're like, well, you sure, it looks cool, but give me something to do, So it felt empty with that. The progression systems, while you could craft things, the items that you could get lacked depth. There wasn't the ability to make them like bolt-on add-ons and have augmentation to them to make them better, which is such a like the whole thing of World of Warcraft is you want to be running around like the baddest looking dude who's got massive armor, plates on top of plates. You've got a bastard sword that's the size of, King Kong. And people are like, whoa, that dude's got an aura around him. He's a guild leader. There was none of that. So all of those things were bringing into it. There were no enemies. It was just alluvials, which kind of didn't make sense. So you just, what you're showing on the screen, that's an alluvial, but there's enemies there in front of you. So two different types, a lot of fodder sort of enemies. And then you've got the proper, like, I want to capture that alluvial. And that makes, psychologically, that makes seeing an alluvial more special, right? Because instead of just seeing everything as an alluvial, you don't even see an NPC. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, I've got to go chat to this guy, and he's sending me up on the hill, and he's like, come back and give me the scales from these enemies. And then once you do that, you go into the dungeons. And this is where it gets really, really cool. So we made the call about 3 months ago. We were like, we need procedurally generated dungeons. We'd never built it before. Again, it sort of goes into that world of like, oh, this isn't handcrafted art. So do we really want to do this? And I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, yes, just do it. And that's when you get to making this, even though the overworld is massive, it makes it so much more scalable. So you're in the overworld first, and that's like the social place where you can go around, see other people, you collect things, you do quests there. Then NPC might say, like, go into this dungeon, beware the ram fire, is going to be at the bottom level of this thing, and he's a fiery dude, like, just watch out for his flames. You go down, you have to fight through a whole bunch of fire alluvials and enemies. You're getting epic loot. You might have something drop that's like, a really rare artifact that's you can turn into an NFT, and that's the optionality of I got an item that I know is super rare, I'm going to sell it, and then you face Ramfire. He's going to give you a ton of XP. He's going to drop a whole bunch of stuff. You probably can't take him down unless you've gone in with some of your mates. So that social aspect comes in. You've got that bond between the alluvial, where if you really sacrifice a whole bunch of alluvials, you create this bond where it's basically infinite, where you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so you feel like, well, I can't just complete this game in 2 weeks. It's going to be months and months of grind, like Metin 2 style, where, you can just keep on maxing out stuff. And all of this is pretty much built already. We're just now in the polishing stage. And it's like, those are the things where you basically, with the previous overworld, you could say it looks beautiful, it's a canvas for the potential of an amazing game, but nothing is here. Now everything is going to be here, essentially.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I can't wait to check it out and get in there. And then obviously deathmatch in about a month and a half maybe. I want to ask this. I don't want to be too negative, but you've been, well, it's not negatively framed, but I appreciate your perspective and candidness on the space. And you've been critical of the space and critical of yourselves and everything. So once again, I appreciate that. We are kind of going through this sobering waking up, across crypto, but also crypto gaming, particularly because it's so hard. And, it's tough because we all kind of agree with where it's going in the inevitability of it. But, it's possible it's possible. Yeah. Shout out to Sam. But it's like possible that, in many ways we're early and maybe too early, which, can be just as much as being wrong. And so I think that you've, I appreciate you taking the time to share and post on Twitter. We've got one of them up here, but I actually wanted to go to your pinned post. Let me pull that up here. You had shared this ecosystem update, but you even kind of opened up with this is not a gaming shutdown notice. So breathe a sigh of relief, but we have had a lot of games shut down over the past year. I'm just curious, how you kind of look at, the space with these game shutdowns. You spoke about feeling so excited about the chances and where you guys are at now. And I had a really good conversation with Sinjin from My Angry Yakuza Girlfriend, just to kind of put it in context. And he was saying day one of deciding to launch a game and build a studio and all that, your chances of making it are less than 1%. It's 0%, right? And he was saying your job as a founder in a studio is to move that percentage from, nearly impossible to, 5%, 10%, 20, 30%, kind of like that. It's still, nothing is guaranteed and it's an uphill battle, but that's kind of the journey of developing the game. And I like that framing. And I kind of am getting that sense from you as well. But I'm curious, being in the space, looking at it, seeing these games shut down, feeling that kind of pressure as a studio. How are you managing that and looking at it, yourselves?
So, I mean, just to be clear on that point, sorry, it was, Sinjin?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so and he's got the.
My
I don't think that's token. That's
the token
girl
the
and
token just
worm
launched
thing.
with the game, so the token's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
out, but they're kind of still early, kind of rolling out access to the game and the token because it's only earned within the game.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I haven't had too much experience with him, but yeah, I mean he's right. But I would just like to add there that the biggest factor of why someone hearing that is probably like, oh my god, everyone's going to fail, right? Like the single biggest reason that games fail is lack of funding. So we don't really have that excuse, certainly not Illuvium, but almost every single game that launches in crypto, if it gets to launch, so as in like if they launch a token, they've done a pre-seed, they've done a seed, you've got somewhere between, I would say over $1.5 million, which that's your first thing that pushes that needle from 0% to, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the more funding you get, obviously the higher chance of succeeding. So when we say like 99.999% of games fail, it's usually because they don't have funding, right? Now, obviously, another massive factor of that is like it's super, super hard to create a good game. But yeah, just wanted to add that in there. So, but sorry, your question.
Yeah, how do you look at the games, the space over the past year with so many game shutdowns and even, feeling some of that pressure, acknowledging it in some of your posts and whatnot. How do you think about like, the chances of success and survival for Illuvium, and just kind of like seeing this wake of, it's sad because, these were games and things that people poured their lives into and loved, but unfortunately had to shut down. And, you guys have been able to survive. So I'm just curious, like when you see stuff like that, how you look at it and
Well, I mean, you can go back to 2020, 2021. I had debates with guys like Star Atlas, and I came out, and again, you don't really get a filter with me. And people either love that or they really hate that.
I loved that interview. That was iconic for the record.
And I had been saying for a long, long time, like, you're running a startup. If you haven't done that before, forget about gaming. Run a startup. Now, like most first-time founders, you running a startup, it's got no chance, right? That's also the probabilities are like 1%, 2% of success, right? That's the first thing. Then later on top of it, if you're a first-time founder, then you're a first-time gaming founder or gaming studio founder, it just becomes insane, right? And I was very critical of the space around play to earn from day one, and that pissed off a lot of people. But it's not, and I'm not going to dance on the grave of people, and I never will. I understand, and I think a lot of people, like even you look at Star Atlas, I went out there and I was like, dude, there's no chance you are going to be able to build out this world. I know it. I can see with, how you're building, the quality of it, like all of this stuff. It's all in that debate, right? But you go 3 years on, 4 years on, they've scaled back massively. They're trying to survive. Like for the most part, I think they are surviving as well. And, their tokens taken a beating like every single other person. But the respect that I have for Wagner to still be here, like I would go up to that dude and be like, you know what? We had a fucking good debate. And that was, kind of fun 4 years ago. But like, let's chat about how fucked this has been, and how much, half a decade, even longer, we put into this, our whole lives, basically. There's so much respect there. So you'll never see me dancing on the graves of these games, and I won't post and say, see, you idiots, like I told you so, and whatever. But the reality is, if you go back and look at my posts from 2020, 2021, I was talking about this happening, right? And now that it has, it's also not something like a lot of people have a take where it's like, well, now the good games are going to prosper. It's not how markets work, right? And that's what's played out, where people are like, well, if there's only 10 and I'm in one of the 10, then it's magically going to fucking 100x because there's only 10 games. So all of that concentration of liquidity is going to come. No, people are just like, I don't believe in this shit anymore. I'm going to AI, or I'm going to a different category. And we have this situation where we're in now, where people don't believe that crypto gaming is going to succeed. And thankfully, there are guys like yourself, like Sam, who loves to point out that Web3 gaming is inevitable, which I should probably talk about that, because like I made a tweet once and he's like, he doesn't like me saying that. I'll explain why in a second. But effectively, we need to get some runs on the board. And I think in 10 years' time, we're going to look back at this period, and it kind of reminds me of like pre-internet. Like I was like 10 years old, but like there were these people who had these garage sort of companies, and they were all trying to create websites and do stuff online. And then you zoom out 10, 15 years later and you look back and you're like, and obviously a few of them came out of that, like, you know, Apple, Yahoo, like there was huge companies that came out of that. But it was not until a while later, and then people were like, well, now it is inevitable. Like, of course it was going to happen. Yeah. But the reason why that statement is kind of like, yes, I agree with you, but also to flippantly say, well, you know, of course Web3 gaming is inevitable. I take that, and maybe I'm taking it the wrong way, but I take that like, dude, do you understand how much blood, sweat, tears, death, crime, like destruction has occurred in people's lives to get to this point? Like what we've had to endure. It's not like, I don't want people to, you know, we succeed in 5 years and people are just like, of course. Yeah. Like, that was easy, right? And it's like, no, it wasn't easy. It was insane. Like, we literally nearly died on that hill trying to survive. So
if you only knew.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just a sort of funny thing where I
think that's a fair take, and I think I've spoken to Sam a bunch about it, and he's talked about it publicly as well, like what he means behind that and his longer term outlook on the space and the technology fundamentally. I don't think it sucks because, you know, it's like the price of success to a certain degree, because even Immutable like named their fund like the Inevitable Fund or something like that. And, you know, so I think that the term kind of took on another meaning or got co-opted and then became something that people could try and poke or tear apart. But like being close to Sam and being every day in this space, when he started saying it, it was at the depth of the bear market, like, 2023-ish, where it really became like a rallying call for the builders and the believers of like, yes, like we're building, and it was this optimism, and it like, you know, kind of banded us together. And then,
and I like, trust me when I say this, I have nothing but respect for Sam.
Yeah,
We've had multiple conversations. Like, it's more like a jesty thing where it's kind of like you know. So as I said, like you guys being here through the bear market, and no one really talks about this either, but DeFi or crypto in general went through this. Yeah. And this is kind of what I say to content creators. When I was talking to people back in 2020, 2021, this interview would have gotten hundreds of thousands of views, right? And you watch those creators, they're going through a bear market. Yeah. And no one gives a shit about that. They're like, well, shut up, dude. And it's like, well, you've dedicated your life to this, right? You're going to conferences. You're interviewing gaming founders, trying to put them on the map. You're doing your part. And it's absolutely critical. You look at every industry, ever in time, there in modern day, there has been content is critical to get the message out and stuff like that. And when no one really points it out or says like, how are you feeling? Like, but don't worry about, like, yes, I've gone through hell, but if you've been here since 2020, you've gone through such a crazy dip where it's like, do I even want to be doing this anymore? No one watches my shit. Like, why am I doing? Question yourself. Like, am I an idiot here? Like, what's going on? So I commend you guys, the dudes who've stayed through this, and so many have left, exactly like so many games have left. And, you know, you're making less money and you're getting through it. And Sam's one of those guys where I'm like, fuck, I respect the hell out of that you're willing to go through that. But trust me when I say this, when we do succeed and it does, you know, become inevitable, we'll look back, and the guys that are doing work like yourself, you will be seen, you'll get millions of followers. You'll be seen as like the Messiah, and he was here from the, oh, whoa, can I talk to that guy? Like, do I even, what? I promise you, that's what will happen. So it's kind of funny. Like, I have nothing but respect for guys like yourself and, you know, Kaggies and shit like that. You've gone through hell and you're here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Kieran. It means a lot, genuinely. Shout out to Kaggy, who had that interview with you and Michael Wagner from Star Atlas. Just won Content Creator of the Year at the last award show. Well deserved. And of course, like, you know, the Scorioxes, the TSGs, you know, the crypto stashes and the spikes and everyone. It's one big, again, family that, you know, we're all in the trenches. But like, that's why a lot of my content has shifted this year, and I'm doing a lot more of these interviews because I want to talk to you and the game builders that are building and you know, kind of rally together, but also you know, come together and create the documentation that when you guys blow up, it's there. Just transition just a little bit to your point about that. We talked about this today. I mean, this just kind of happened this week in the States. The SEC has laid out much more clear regulatory clarity about what types of crypto assets are securities and not securities. They go so far to like even specifically label, you know, digital collectibles or wait, where's the gaming one? In-game items and, you know, tokens and things like that. So this to me is like a major turning point. It's like a part of the progression that we all foresaw, and like, you know, massive green light, I think, to the space. So many things, like it has been the trenches and a war from 2020 to 2026, but like so many things are genuinely moving in the right direction, and we still have, you know, a lot of the builders pushing hard and coming to market. So it is, as you know, difficult and challenging as it has been, it's also like when you look out as well, because we've been in it, when you look out, you're like, oh wow, like, you know, Off the Grid is on PlayStation and, you know, Illuvium's coming out. And so there's a lot to be excited about and keep building towards. Kieran, I've loved the time with you, man. I've really appreciated. You've been incredibly generous with your time. This is an important conversation that I was very excited to have. Is there anything that we didn't speak about that you just want to share? And of course, open invite. You're welcome anytime as things launch and come out. You know, we want to talk about it and help create that distribution and amplification. But yeah, I want to give you the floor to either close out or you know, touch on anything that we didn't speak about.
I think awesome interview. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I think we covered pretty much all of it. I just would probably say a lot of people I'm seeing on the timeline, I try and plug myself in as much as possible. I'm starting to see sentiment be like, oh, there's a bit of stuff going on with Illuvium here. Like, what if we have a very, very high ceiling to get back to this will not stop from this point to the end of the year. We have, as I said, 5 products which are massive. We also have a platform that I've been building basically secretly.
You teased this.
Yeah, so that's going to bring a lot more mainstream games to crypto, and I won't speak too much about it. I'll reveal it very, very soon. But I've been working on this I had the idea about 18 months ago, and I started working on it about 6 months ago. Again, completely separate team. We went and raised a 500K pre-seed. It's under the Illuvium umbrella, and that platform that'll be the 5th thing that we're building that has massive revenue potential. But just it's a passion thing for me to implement for this space, and I think it'll be very, very, very big for getting crypto gaming on the map. So I'm super excited about that. I won't say too much more, but yeah, just in terms of like that platform, Obelisk Rising, there's gameplay tests that are coming out. Beyond has a celebration set where you can go and get a ram fire that's really, really cool. Arena, you're going to be able to sit in your crypto camp and look and see, like, let's see what happens when effectively the same game launches in mainstream on Steam versus how it performed in crypto. So we'll get a taste of, like, will people buy a $10, $15 game? That's going to be exciting, and that's in the next 3-4 months. So, like, there's so much stuff that is coming out, and that's the plus of building so many things simultaneously, is it feels like these dudes are not stopping. And that's what gave us insane momentum back 2-3 years ago when we were at our peak. So just look out. We're on the rise. I promise you that.
I love that, Kieran. That's very exciting. We put the thumbnail, it's far from over. And I love that energy. Always have really respected you and your conviction and your relentlessness. If there was one word for you. Kieran, thank you so much for the time. We will definitely, as you come with those announcements, please come back. We got to chat about them. Very, very exciting. It's an exciting time for Illuvium. And I know, cause I see Scoriox always talking about it. Shout out to Scoriox. Kieran, once again, really, really appreciate you taking the time. It's always a pleasure and an honor. We'll drop you off the stream now because we're going to keep kind of going.
No worries.
But yeah, keep us in the loop, and thank you for not only fighting for ETH, but fighting the good fight, man.
I really appreciate it. Good luck for the rest of the show.
Likewise.
Thanks, Asi.
We'll talk
soon,
man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was Kieran. Dude, banger, another banger. Oh, it's so cool. So cool. Llama, I appreciate you hanging out. I didn't know you being in the Australia makes a lot of sense now. So shout out Immutable, and I think I think Illuvium's in New Zealand. But dude, banger episode. That was awesome. Massive shout out to Kieran, man. I really, really enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate how transparent, vulnerable, honest, humble that they are. And no worries, brother. No worries. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just like, how can you not root for these teams, for these games? I don't know, man. Call me a sucker for a good game, but I'm excited, man. We talk about it all the time on the stream. Like, we want to see Illuvium succeed. We want to see Illuvium win. They mean a lot to the space. Brother, like any game developer who's been here for the past 6 years, through the highest of the highs to the lowest of the lows, that can come on and fight the good fight every single day. Like, it's absolutely insane. And I have so much admiration and respect for it. And that's why I really enjoy what we're doing right now with these interviews. We got to get Michael Wagner from Star Atlas on. I'm talking to the Pixels team. We're going to get them on next week. I want to talk to, I've got a crazy episode with Hilmar from CCP and Eve Frontier coming. We're editing that right now. Swagner, the GOAT, shout out to Ghostpad. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully, I don't know, like, what do you guys think, right? Like, do you hear what Kieran is saying and you're like, that sounds exciting? Like, I'm in, like, okay, you know, you guys hear where you guys went wrong with some of the design, and now like hearing about the MMO Lite, Obelisk, the death match. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good. A lot of clips are going to come out from that episode. You know, but here's the thing, like they are pushing like hard on a few different products that can do well, you know? So yeah, they definitely cut a lot of costs, which is, you know, that's one of the things, man, that you just don't realize when you're in it. You know, he said at one point their burn rate was $2 million a month, and like, that's a lot of money, right? But like when you're investing and you're going all in on your vision and you're pushing on all cylinders, like I've been there. I think that's been really the story of the space. It's like, let's capture this moment. Let's capture this opportunity and let's give it everything that we've got. And, you know, it turns out that, whoa, maybe we should have been more prudent. Maybe we should have been more methodical. Maybe we shouldn't have rushed it. But I don't know how you have that wisdom or patience to do that, you know? You know, I think you have to like go through it and learn, not the hard way, but maybe the hard way, you know? Vision needs a strong foundation. Vision alone is what they had. Now he's learned. Yeah, no, dude, it's great. Like, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate, you know, him, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say eating humble pie or whatnot, but just like, being able to have that awareness and that recognition, and then, you know, course correcting, right? That's what great founders, great builders, great entrepreneurs do. He's like, this is a startup. And okay, we tried some things. It didn't work, but we're still in the fight. And they got that dog in them, bro. They got that dog. So big shout out to Kieran. Really, really appreciate that conversation. That was great, man. That was great. That was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Guys, speaking of how hard it is to make something work, we left off the show because we brought Kieran on, but we were talking about Abstract. We're talking about Abstract and how they came under fire. We've had a long episode today, but I do want to round this out. Brother Ghost Cat, I want you on the stream, bro. DM me. We'll try and find some time when it works best for you. And yeah, no, you're more than welcome to come on the stream, brother. I want to hear what you're doing, what you're talking about. It's just, we've been in this with GDC and some of these interviews. It's been a lot. But let's talk about Abstract. So Abstract, they slashed their XP update in their latest update. They were rewarding less XP for NFT holders, and kind of came under fire to the point where they had to like really clarify, like, hey guys, like it's not as bad as you guys are making it out to be. It was just some slight adjustments. Basically they want to incentivize more on-chain activity. They didn't think that it was like fair that people were just holding these assets and not really doing anything with them for them to still like get a bunch of XP and all this stuff. So it's, you know, it's a more dynamic system. And they're just kind of like iterating it on the fly. Now, again, this was like trending on Twitter to the point where, you know, they had to like come out and address it and like what's going on. I mean, shout out to FFV. I think he was in the chat earlier. Team ridiculing participants for holding NFTs. I mean, these screenshots don't look all that great. Everyone's like, what's going on with Abstract? You know, Eli came out kind of saying like, hey, this was a good response. You know, they're trying to like do their best, and you know, their communications need to be better, sure, but I don't know. He's like still bullish and all in on Abstract. Here's my issue. And here's my like first reaction. And I think that I'm going to be wrong in this, but because I haven't like done a super deep dive, so I'm probably misinformed, but like my protectiveness of Eli and also like my own frustrations with Abstract are just like, bruh, like Eli should be on top of cloud 9. Like they should be making Eli the champion of Abstract. Like he should be on payroll. He should be crushing it. Like his show should be the premier show. Like I don't think Abstract is doing right by Eli, and that hurts my heart. I said it. Like, fam, you want people to care about your stuff. You like, they're talking about like, oh, rewarding the people and driving incentives and recognizing people. Like, what about Eli? What about the guy that is like ate, slept, bled, you know, cried tears for Abstract since day one? Where's the book of Eli? You know, like, I don't know, man. It just makes me angry. It makes me angry. And this is just between us. I hope no one ever sees this. Like, and maybe he has benefited. What do I know? I don't know anything, right? But no, he's not working with like he's not on payroll. As far as I know, last update that I had, like he's never been paid by Abstract. He's never been paid. So, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You want to incentivize and reward the community, and your number one guy is out here like with an unsponsored show. Like, what are we doing? Eli better eat like crazy when that airdrop comes. And again, if I'm speaking out of tongue, out of turn, if there's something that I don't know, let me, you know, I'll apologize and stand on that. But like, bruh, I love Eli. His work there was incredible. And as far as I know, his show has gone, I think he had YGG as a sponsor for like a little bit, and like that was it. So when they talk about like this stuff, and I like no shot at Saigar and no shot, Raj on the team is awesome. I've done content with Logan, like no shot at any of the individuals, but like, it's just like when they talk about like, you know, incentivizing the community and rewarding them and all this stuff, I'm just like, bruh, like miss me with that, because it's been a while, man. I mean, this is the rest of Eli's post. He's like, you know, appreciate Saigar for having a level-headed response. I'm sure they're feeling like attacked or whatever. He's like, XP wasn't even the main issue. It's just like the messaging that holding value on chain isn't valuable to the ecosystem. It was the messaging that NFTs coins provided no value if they weren't generating transactions to farm on chain. And it's like, the messaging and intention is important, but like W post, let's see how it sticks. And I'm just like, bruh, what are we doing? what even is Abstract doing anymore? I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. But like Memento had a really good post breaking down the reality of incentive design. He's like, designing an incentive system is not easy. Designing one that survives is much harder. You know, yes, Abstract XP is a living experiment. And they actually had Raj on Sidelined, and there's a good clip here where he just breaks down like the changes and everything. And like when they just talk about this stuff, it just falls flat for me. It falls flat because it's like, why is Eli not your main guy? You know? Why is, like, you know how, like, I watched the All In podcast and they talk about like China, and like China has this concept where they want national champions. Like China will like pick like, you're the oil producer of China and like you're going to be our national champion and we're going to make sure that you win. We are going to basically like crown you, you know? We're king make. It's like they king make certain select people, and it's like, bruh, if Abstract is like legit about like, hey, who brings value to our ecosystem, then they should be king making Eli. And the fact that that's like not really happening is just like crazy to me. I don't know. That was just a small rant that I wanted to go on. Just because like it's a missed opportunity, man. Like, and that's what all these chains should be doing and all these projects should be doing. Illuvium should be king making Scoriox. Scoriox has like done such incredible things for Illuvium. And I didn't know that they do right by him in many regards, but like there was other creators that like in Immutable that weren't getting like supported for the longest time. Like, bruh, it's just, yeah, dude, it's, don't neglect your fans. I don't know, man. It's doing the little things. Doing the little things matters. And I don't know who these projects think that they are to like not doing this stuff, man. Not doing this stuff. I don't know. Just it triggers me. It triggers me. I'm triggered. With that said, guys, we are going to close it out here. You know who doesn't trigger me? You know who does support creators in the ecosystem and champions everybody that they possibly can? YGG Play and Yield Guild Games. They're the best partner that I've ever worked with. They're absolutely incredible. Look at them. Look at them. They're not even just reposting, man. They're like, yo, shout out to Marcello. Like, look at this, dude. Look at that, man. Incredible. Make sure you guys check out the quest of the day, the Grand Slam. Jump into GigaChad Bat, take on that quest. There's always fun things happening. You see the banners. We got YGG Lowland, YGG Play, GigaChad Bat, Waifu Sweeper. Shout out to AI Rev. Shout out to Blaze. How we feel about this Blaze hat though? I think I gotta fix the Google Meet video because it does the inversion thing. I noticed it the other day, but I keep forgetting to fix it because like the Blaze is backwards, so I'm like inverted, which is just crazy. That's just, what am I doing? And shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys, dude. Llama, Ghost Cat, Ice and Dark, AE, Sunshine, Mount Doji, FFV, of course, Kieran, for coming on today's show, man. It just means so much that you guys are here. Smiling Monster always drops a lurking comment. I appreciate that, brother. It means a lot that you guys support the show, that you're active in the chat. You know, when we get big guests like Kieran, like Justin Waldron, like Tim Yoista from Origins, like, you know, it makes all the difference in the world when, you know, you guys are active and we're having good conversation and we're bringing awareness to the hard work that they're doing and the things that they're going through. Also, shout out to Blaze, man. Shout out to Blaze. We got Faux Dub, Sip of Coke, Pepperonis, Dimmy FW. The first stream on Blaze has gone well. I didn't really talk about it but we were over there. I don't know if you can kind of see it. I mean, I'd have to like zoom out. Can I fix that? Yeah, that's not going to work. It doesn't do anything. We got Inceptions. Okay, we're going to get out of here. We'll get out of there. But we were live over on Blaze, which was pretty cool. And we're going to be doing more stuff over there. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, stay humble, keep gaming, keep dreaming. And I'll see you in tomorrow's Gaming Daily Live, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's like 8 a.m. Over in Australia. So I appreciate you guys waking up to this face and this content. We'll see you guys then. Have a good one. Peace.
These are facts.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness.
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.